What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about The Watchers. So this is a Sean and Night Shyamalan's first go at directing, and it was a bit of a frustrating watch just because I saw the vision that she had, and more importantly, the potential that it had. But this felt like a situation where the ideas did not transfer as best as they could have on screen, and this might just come down to a lack of experience. But because of that, the film felt very unpolished and overstuffed, especially because of the second half antics. But for starters, some things I actually liked. The cinematography was very pretty, Ireland was stunning, and she sold me on the fact that these woods felt very isolating. Also, the fact that she took on writing and directing this movie on her first try deserves recognition because it's not an easy feat to do, even with the plot being so simple as a group of people being stuck in a room trapped by creatures known as the Watchers. I really love that for the most part she expertly used lighting to distinguish feels between scenes. This was more prominent in the first half, but mainly she would use cooler blue lighting to distinguish when Mira was alone, as opposed to warmer yellow lighting when she was in group and for the most part was safe. In the first half specifically, there was a lot of silhouettes in the dark in combination with quick, sharp cuts that would suggest there was something in the background, and that is my personal favorite type of scare. I love when the film challenges the audience to create the monster. Also, Dakota Fanning as the star of the film did a decent enough job. I think most of the issues don't come from her delivery as opposed to the actual story itself. I mean, considering how small the cast is, especially when one of the main characters is Sally from the requel for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and well, we all saw that movie and I wasn't surprised when I didn't like her performance here either. Georgina Campbell was a bit of a surprise because I thought her work in Barbarian was excellent and I felt like she underperformed here, but I'm also inclined to say that she was just underutilized here because she really didn't get to do much in this movie. I really liked the use of the cello as part of the music. It felt very fitting, and as for the bird, it was cute and colorful, which is all I could really ask for. However, there's things that just don't work for me in this film. It's messy and it gets overly convoluted as the movie goes on. Thing is, the movie does a good job at pulling you in and enticing you with the idea of being afraid of the unknown. So the first half of the movie has pretty good pacing with the seams of the story still somewhat woven together, but it falls apart once it gets to the second and third act. Madeline's character has too much exposition throughout the movie and has these predetermined rules that are never explained how they come to be. Also, because of the fact that she knows everything about these Watchers, it made the reveal watered down because you half knew something about her was off, and her being essentially one of them is predictable, but more than anything doesn't make anything in the movie retroactively more fun. It just means she was helping the other Watchers get food every now and then, but not really, because she probably helped set up the rules of the forest, so I guess her MO was mainly just to get revenge on humans. In that same vein, there is no character relations or no character tensions between any of these characters. We're talking about a cast of 4 people, so it was annoying to see that these characters had nothing to do with each other and didn't even try to really get to know each other. To the point that the only death of our main cast felt dumb because of character choices obviously, but also devoid of any emotion. And if you consider the fact that Kira is the newest member, having been there for 5 months, it's shocking to see that there's no toll from this isolation and fear that they've been in for so long. In fact, they actually seem pretty normal. Mira confessing about her past because plot? She wouldn't have known they'd open the door for them just because she told them about her past. Daniel's beef was with Madeline and had nothing to do with Mira whatsoever. But also, her backstory added nothing to the movie. Like, this is what I mean when I say that Dakota Fanning's not really at fault here, because her tragic story with her mom and sister never have any payoff. There's no arc for her because it never feels like she actually dealt with her bottling up her past, and when she goes back to finally meet up with her twin sister, it feels so ingenuine. The whole concept of wanting to know what these Watchers are is interesting at first, but the more insight we get into them, it just feels lackluster because it makes it feel like it's just misunderstood creatures that want revenge on humanity. There's also this really weird random moment of exposition on how forever ago, Watchers and humans used to fight each other in this borderline apocalyptic war, but at some point after that, they became best friends and at some point even mated, which in itself brings a whole bunch of different questions. I thought the idea of the movie being a metaphor for humans being the test subjects and other creatures studying humans instead of the other way around was clever and piqued my interest, but it just kept going too deep into the lore of the Watchers and their evolutions that I felt like they were cramming way too much into this story. One of the side effects of this, by the way, is that there's like 3 different endings, and to be honest, the third one was the worst one. It felt so cheesy and tacked on just to have a, hopeful ending, I guess? Maybe if I read the book, which was the source material for this movie, I'd appreciate this one a bit more. I don't know, it felt like the intention was there, and while the concepts were interesting, the idea of the movie was too big for the scope of the film. And because of how tedious certain aspects of the movie were, I felt kind of bored at sometimes, and it sucks because this is a thriller horror movie after all. One of the downfalls of the film, and this was just my reading of the film, is that Ishana's formative path of her ideology of filmmaking has probably been mostly comprised of seeing her dad's work, who is a divisive director, and I'd argue that finding her own style of filmmaking would be beneficial, as a whole plot twist thing worked for M. Night Shyamalan mostly, but that doesn't mean it has to be hers. I'm not saying that since her first try, which had a twist, didn't work for me personally, means that she just can't ever do a twist ending style of movie again. All I'm saying is that hopefully she doesn't feel bound by blood to have to only do that style. All in all, my feelings about this film is that it would have better served as a short film rather than a feature length, and to that extent, the movie is 100 minutes long, at least make it 90 minutes. Too much of the movie felt redundant, and had it have been removed, would have strengthened the theme of the movie and reduced the tonal dissonance of the end product. But those are just my thoughts. I'd appreciate a thumbs up, subscribe. My name's Anthony, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.